So, back into solar stuff again. Got these nice bifacial 450 watt panels. Beauty. Looks fucking pretty today. It's gonna be warm. This is early, but not going far. Just this first dock right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like right there. So pretty easy. And then I gotta lug all this stuff. It's gonna be a Victron system. Still waiting on the inverter, but be 24 volt. Approximately a 9 kilowatt hour battery bank. Should be good. 100 amp controller, 1800 watts of panels. Yeah, plus generator connections, all that stuff. Anyways, thanks guys. Guys, Frankie here. So here's a solar job I'm at. It's a private little lake that's gated. Multiple gates, steel gates and bridges. Pretty hard to get to, and then it's all boat access after you get in here. No roads past the beach. So it's about an hour to get here from my place. Not that it's an hour of fast driving, but it's an hour to get here. Up dirt roads, single lane dirt roads. But this is the cottages, and this is what I'm building. Show you their old system, what they've been running with for years. I put in just a little booster, so I sold them that. It's a 250 midnight. You can see we're already in absorb. This is what they got for batteries. 300 watt inverter. And this is what they've been living off of. I don't know why they have such. Oh, okay. I guess they only got small wires on the output. But yeah. So I guess they pretty much just have one circuit. Even though they have 4 breakers. One circuit powers the whole cabin. Not that, they only got 300 watt freaking inverter, so. But I'm putting them in a brand new Victron system. This will be their new power hut. Should be lots of room compared to that one. Freaking bugs are a nightmare. So I've got a 3/4 inch plywood behind there. So these walls, it's only a 3-season cabin. So the walls are only about 2 inches thick. No insulation, just wood. So it's like this siding and then another layer of the siding on the inside. So as thick as this window is as thick as the wall is. Hard to see, but yeah, it's like 3 inches thick with the trim. So you gotta be careful not to go right through. That's why I put the 3/4 inch board there. And this is all gonna be sealed with a nice big door on here. And you can open, I got 9 kilowatt hours of AGMs going in here. Stark Solar 125s. I got 3 kilowatt, multi-plus inverter, Victron everything. Got a 250 100 amp controller going in. Brought my little mini system, so I have some power here. Panels, top of the line, best panels on the lake. They're only 54 cell, half cell, but 450 watt bifacials, so you can glass on both sides. Very nice. So we got about 1800 watts of panels going in here. You know, they're only going to be using really lights, Starlink, and a couple fans and stuff, but they also want to wire up this other cabin. Nice little cabin, great people. So that far cabin they want to wire up as well from this system. And they're getting their roof redone, supposed to be last year, but still hasn't got done. Very hard to get out here. So this is what they have right now for panels. They've got like a PWM controller on there, and then I got this 300 watt panel there. So that's all they have. And before last year, I put this in for them just so they can make it through till they got their bigger system. But they only had those two little 100 watt panels there. So that's pretty much all they had in here for power. And they didn't do very good last year. They're doing much better this year. Yeah, and they got propane, so everything's propane. All these used to be all propane lights, propane fridge, propane everything. So, but they do have a Starlink. It's here. So, you know, it's a nice little cabin. It's mellow, breathes well. And this is their meter. So after last year, they had it switched differently, and it would never go to green. So I just changed the little pins inside there, so it actually shows a proper charge. Nice little cabin. There's no insulation, and I think a tree fell down here because of the ice storm and damaged this window. But yeah, like I said, beautiful little cabin. Everyone's happy. So, never even been in that other cabin. But yeah, it's pretty difficult to put stuff in because how thin the walls are. Very hard to see, but I think this wall is actually a thicker wall. I think they might have added this addition on here. But beautiful little place. I think the suns stay over here. I think we're gonna put an array right in here. 4 panels somewhere in here. Of course, we got major trees in the way. They don't really, I really want them to get rid of the trees before we do this because, you know, definitely makes a little bit of a problem. You know, these trees could go. These trees could go, but we do have a couple hour window here, and then we'll get, you know, a little bit. We're not going to get much power the way it sits. Like, it'd be really nice to knock those two down that way, and this group here, 5 trees, would be nice to get out of here. Yeah, pain in the butt though. These trees would be nice to get out of here too. That tree would be nice to get out of here too. So it's only about 9 o'clock in the morning right now. But yeah, let's do the best we can here. That's why I'm building them in a much bigger array than what they need. That's how they get their water. They just pump it with gas up to the top, and then it gravity feeds into the cabin when they need water. So, yeah. anyways, I'm gonna skin the sides and then start working on, I guess I'll fill this in. I'm gonna make it totally sealed pretty much. I don't want snow or anything coming in, but eventually I'll get the spray foam and caulk in and everything, fill it all in. I got some steel roofing coming up on here, so yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, that's the stuff there that I'm putting on, and then we'll get rid of this, maybe put it for that cabin or something else, I don't know. Lights over there, figure it out. But anyways, this is what I'm at, and this is what I'm doing for the next couple of weeks. Big job. So that's the system, putting in some extra plugs, some lights. Yeah, just about everything. Anyways, thanks guys. Kind of start to get an idea of how this thing's gonna kind of look. And I'll have a green steel roof on it. This will also be covered in the front and the side. Might have to get one more sheet of this stuff. I did get 2 sheets, but I ended up making a 4-foot inside. You know what I mean? So now I'm 3 inches, well, yeah, 3 inches bigger than 4 foot. So I might have enough left over to scab in some pieces, but that's gonna probably look like shit. So we'll see what I gotta do for that. And then I'll spray foam and caulk everything, clean up the cuts. I'll do this side next. The way it's going, I'll go right up there. It kind of holds everything together good too. So yeah, I kind of want the inside to be sealed for winter. They won't be taking anything home. Just disconnect the batteries, fully charge them, then disconnect them. And just like the other systems, you turn it back on in the summer, you might lose a couple points of the volts, and it's not that big of a deal. I think it's gonna be a good little hut for this. Tried to do 2x4s with spacing every foot for the batteries. I believe the batteries, there's 6 of them, so it'd be 42 inches, and I've got 48 inches, so there will be some room for some styrofoam. And I'll probably put another layer of styrofoam on top of all the batteries, then they'll kind of be, I don't know, in there themselves, you know what I mean? So yeah, just keep going. I'm gonna get this other piece for the side marked out. I am running out of screws. Got that many 1.5 inches left. It'll be enough to hold that on there, but whatever. So, and it's pretty strong. I've stood on it already, so I'm gonna get tar paper. I did have some roof steel, but I kind of made the roof bigger than I planned on making it. So this was the only roof steel I had that didn't have holes in it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to use that stuff now, unless I can match it. I can find like another piece, but I think even a 6-foot piece would be fine on there. And I cut it in half. That should give me, I think they're 3 foot wide. I'm less than 6 feet here. Yeah, so I'm only 5 foot here, so a 6-foot sheet, 36 inches wide, will fit on there, no problem. Get some tar paper, put that down first, and then it's all gonna get painted green. I got some side trims for here, and possibly at the back. So I got trim for there, for here, that side, both front and back. Don't want to put anything at the bottom. I like everything to drain nicely. I don't want like a puddle to form in the trim. Just, if anything's going to come on there, it's going to come right off. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks guys. So this is how I'm making it. So the trim or the siding will go all the way down to here, but the door will also go all the way down. So this will be the door, nice big door. But when you open the door, you could sweep it all out and there's not going to be a lip here, you know what I mean? So if any dirt or anything gets in there, you can just sweep it all out. But yeah, it's coming along, it's nice and strong. I feel like I can pull the whole cottage over. But I didn't want it over here because that's southish. I guess southish is kind of that way. So I didn't want it over there. I'm trying to keep it out of the sun as much as possible. But I think this will be pretty good for them. Like, it's gonna be much better than what they had there. But what I want to do is like split it in half almost. This will be the DC side, this will be the AC side. So we'll have a breaker panel here for the AC side. We'll have the inverter, charge controller, and a 12 gang DC breaker bus or breaker panel. So then, and I'll have the wire tray that goes under there. So it'll be inverter, breaker, charge controller. All the other stuff can find another place, like the servo GX and any other little devices. But the inverter, it's a 3000 watt 24 volt, so I'm just going to use a 125 amp DC breaker, and that's exactly 3000 watts. So if we hit 3000 watts, it's going to shut the system down. I don't want it to, I'm sure it'll be a time thing too, so if it's over like 30 seconds of that, it will shut the breaker down. And if it's a problem, then I don't think it will, because these guys, you know, everyone around here is so used to not using power. So anyways, we'll figure it out. Hopefully I got enough of this material left over to scab in this corner. So this piece will go from here across here up to the top and everything. So yeah, and then I'm trying to make it so there's no gaps or holes either, right? So everything that's gappy, like all up there, that'll all get spray foamed, that whole gap. And then on the outside, every single one of these will get spray foamed too, like the siding in between there. That'll all get spray foamed. And then eventually when I put the steel up, it'll also be tarred, so, or whatever, silicone. So you can't get in there with any bugs or moisture. Not to mention that so I went right on top, there's a 3/4 inch plywood plus this 1/2 inch cement board. So if any water does go there, it'll just go behind anyways. So it shouldn't come back in this way. It should just all go behind. If something does go behind, I'm going to seal the top anyway, so it shouldn't go behind. But you know what I mean? But yeah, that's where we're at so far. That'd be cool to get this thing closer to finish today. I'd like to get rid of all this material just sitting on there. Just so if it does rain, we're supposed to expect some rain either Wednesday night, Thursday. So we'll see how it goes. This guy's doing pretty good. 6 amps. This is what the problem is going to be here. So many trees that it's going to cut something on the panels. You can see how much is on the panels already. So we are going to have some issues with getting light. Now, I'm not the tree guy on this job, and I really wish I could hammer down these trees beforehand, like that one, this one, this one. those 5, I just tip them all that way, you know, make a huge difference in the light here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 trees would make a huge difference in the light in this place. And they don't have air conditioning or anything like that. That's why they like the trees, is because it shades some of the light. Like some of these hot days, it's just crazy. It gets so hot. Anyways, thanks guys. So I don't like the trim. Took me forever to get these hinges working with the door. It does go. It's only gonna go to about there, I guess. Guess I could trim the trim, but you know, I want it to cover up, so I gotta go with like a 3-inch trim. Don't want all the screw holes covered. But for now, it's not gonna have to do for there. It's just a basic door. Yeah. It's not too warm in here, but once I put a black or a darker roof on there, it might get a little hotter in there. May have to do some vents. We'll see. I don't like to do vents because then, you know, in the winter time when the snow's blowing around, it will find its way in there. And I really don't want that to do that. Yeah, I don't like the trim. So, but it's all going to be painted dark green, I believe. We'll see. And this stuff here will get stained more of that color. See that one there? That one is actually made of the same stuff, and they just put a orangey stain on it. So yeah, I'm gonna call her a day here today. It's getting extremely hot. Got quite a bit of stuff to clean up. Guess I need to get more of them legs. Might as well just get 4 more. Put brand new ones in. I think they have 1 or 2 here. I thought they had more, but they don't. And you know, this panel's not putting out very much through this amount of cloud and stuff, but it's still doing 7.5 amps, 100 watts. But you can see there's barely anything on there for, but we only got, I gotta go to 16.8 is the top, so we're a volt low still, but I brought it here at 15.5 volts, so we're at 15.9. So we are going up. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much where I'm gonna leave off for today. Not sure exactly what I'm gonna do with that door yet, but it'll be better once I'm done. The other one I put some swivel locks on here, so it just, you lock it and then, you know what I mean? I'll put one at the top, one at the bottom. That should keep her nice and tight. But yeah, I think it's gonna clean up for today. I gotta get more smaller screws. I used all my little ones. These are their screws, so I don't want to use them all. They're pretty easy going people. They say if I need anything for any jobs, just grab it and then I can replace it if I have to. It took me a long time to figure out this hinges, man. They're a pain in the nuts. Door's not perfect either, so the doorway isn't perfect, so So yeah, I'm gonna clean up, get out of here. Shit's real dry around here. Yeah, clean up everything. Alright, back here again today. So I got the tar paper up, got this drip cap up. Sucks. Look at this. This is when I'm short. You know, spend $30 to get another sheet or another piece of that just for that, you know. Very disappointing. But I can do it after. Actually, another build across the way that I'm doing. Just ran into a similar situation, so maybe between the two, I can get a full piece and then scab it in on both sides. So I also did all the spray foaming all up in the gaps. I also cut all the tar paper to match in there. I'm not going to do that with the roof steel, but I may put up I don't know what I'm going to do there, to tell you the truth. Maybe just tar it, or I don't know, something. I have to do something there. Like I said before, it shouldn't go in because there's an inch past this board on the inside. So it should, if anything drips, it'll just go behind. But I'm not trying to have that happen either. I'd like it to be as good as possible. I got all the spray foaming done inside too. I took off the trim already. Got some wider trim, that stuff. So this was it's like 1.5 inches. I think it's 3-inch or whatever. It's supposed to be 3-inch, but it never is what it's supposed to be. I got it all spray foamed. All the cracks. Like, I don't want any bugs in here either, you know what I mean? So not just water, but water and bugs. So when I put the batteries in, I'll probably put a blue styrofoam down. I'll probably leave 4 inches here, and you know, they're only about 6 inches or so. I forget, but it should fit in there. Like, should come to about here. So it'll be like here and here. There'll be room on each side, so then when the wires come down, it'll come down and then connect to. Yeah. It's just how I do it. I'm not a professional builder. I don't claim to be. But I need to make it waterproof as possible and bug proof as possible. So I do like that drip edge. Hopefully that'll help keep things out. But I'll let these guys paint everything they want to paint. They are trying to go forest green, so I just got this stuff. I had to get new roof steel. But I have another little job. I think it's the same profile as this, but they're waiting for green. So yeah. Anyways, thanks guys. It's getting hot already. Gotta get this done. I want to get this hut pretty much done today before I go. With trim, roof, door all figured out, like the locks and all that stuff on, and then I may not be back here till Thursday or Friday. Today's Tuesday, so fuck, that pisses me off. That's so short. 1 foot short. I think that was a 10-footer. I would have got a 12-footer, which they didn't have. You know, this was all like overstock stuff, so I got it like super cheap. Like that piece there was the most expensive. I got for $26. These pieces here I got for $15 each, and there's 2 of them. I had to buy a grinder because I forgot my grinder, but I needed a small grinder anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at. That's it. I don't know what I want to do first. The roof or the trim. Anyways, thanks guys. Go. The roof is on. I'd actually prefer to keep it white, just it keeps the heat down, you know. So, and I'll fill up all this with spray foam. It'll be fine. I gotta do something back there, maybe flashing. I don't know. Like I said, you got the gaps, so no matter what happens there, it's gonna be a bit of a pain in the butt. I'll have to figure it out though. So on to trim. Get the trim done. Get the door locks on. And I'm pretty sure I'm calling it a day after that. I'm freaking soaked already. Thanks. So this is where I'm leaving it. I got trim. Even did these custom little pieces up there that get notched out. It's good enough. The trims all get painted green. The roof will get painted green. I got the locks. Holds everything nice and tight. Pick up these guys. Try not to poke any nails through, but I guess you can't win them all. There's one there. There's two that I got through. So everything else should be in. There should maybe the door locks, wherever they are. Yeah, there's a door lock. There's a door lock. So other than the door locks, these guys are in there nice. That's good. Everything's nice. Yeah, close is nice. Which way is that way? The longer way out. Just have so it covers all the screw holes. Looks nice. And like I said, that'll get painted. This side. And that piece of trim missing up there. There's the drip edge. It's there, right there. So, I'm gonna clean up. It's getting too hot for today. Gotta take a trip to Home Depot still. Do have to get some other, gotta get a couple more things. It'll probably be a Wednesday thing. Oh, another day. Finished this on Friday, but the customers were up, so I didn't film. But this is just temporary until they get their roof redone, and then hopefully we can put the panels on the roof. That's the goal. But no, there's no point of putting the panels on the roof. They were supposed to get the roof redone last summer, and the guys never come do it. So, you know, and this is another season, almost halfway done now, and it's still not done. So there's no point of putting all this panels up there and wiring it all to find out we gotta take it all down again when they're ready to do the roof. That's kind of useless. So put it here on temporary mounts, I guess you'd call it. And you know, even if it takes a couple of years to get the roof done, this should last a couple of years. Like mine, I built in 2017, and it's almost 2026, and it's fine still. And it's got 18 panels on it. This one's only gonna have 4, and they're similar size panels. So, like I said, we gotta do what we gotta do out here. And like, I want to build it as cheap as possible, but I also need it as strong as possible. They do get some wind from the lake, so not 100%. I may put a post, like a tie-in post from there to the tree. Not to mention they got all these trees. I'm sure most of the crappier branches have got knocked off now, like the not as sound ones. Oh, but yeah, this is where we're at. I have to cut that tree. I got a 250-100 controller from Victron. And it will only be about 160 volts. But because of the shading, I don't want to lose the whole string. So I might put it into 2 and 2. So then these two would actually put power out when this one isn't getting enough power. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, this is what I got to deal with, you know? Trees everywhere, all across the whole zone. Like, this stretch here is like our best bit of sun, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so, you know, we'll get a bit in the morning over here, like 7, 8, and 9 is covered. Maybe 9:45 we'll start getting some light over here, and then it'll continue on, and we're gonna get a full blast of it for, you know, I'm hoping we can get 2-3 kilowatt hours out of this space here in the trees. Well, this is how it turned out. It's not exactly how I hoped it to be, but what do you do? You know, it's a temporary mount. I don't want to spend $5,000 on this, you know what I mean? Like, the original plan was 2 rails on the roof. Big difference in price for the 2 rails on the roof to this mount, plus the wire, you know? So, like, I don't know what else to do here, but this should, it'll give us something, you know? We'll get some reflection off the lake, hopefully, from the backside. It's not gonna be much, but like, everything didn't turn out perfect. But we have a disconnect here, pull out type disconnect, and then from here, I calculate around 100 feet of wire, go under the cabin, right to the electrical box. Well, I'll leave a little extra wire just in case. Like, that's stuff I don't like to see, is that, you know, a little bit of edge sticking up there. It is a little bit wonky, but also where I started was dead center here, and it is kind of resting on that post. I couldn't get it down enough. I should have moved this up another inch, you know, all of them. Like, it's not such a big deal here. Well, it is actually. I didn't notice I was touching. This one's not touching. But like I said, it's just temporary, so if we get a few years out of this without any broken panels, that's kind of what I'm shooting for. And I think we're gonna do a little bit of maintenance when it comes to storing this for the winter. Probably get some plywood and then sheet that, or even 2x4s and some plywood, and we got to protect it somehow from all the branches and stuff. Like I said before, most of the weak stuff has already dropped from the ice storm, so it should be more structurally sound branches that are left. But with this little gap here, we should get a couple kilowatt hours, and then we're gonna get, you know, 2-3 kilowatt hours throughout the day. There's gonna be some peaks when it jumps through some of the branches and stuff. But yeah, I got so much trees that should be removed, and I am gonna put it in 2 groups instead of 4. It is gonna be a little shittier for the wiring, but what do you do? Gotta try and maximize what we can. You can see how much shade is on there already. Like, there's not gonna be much sun, but we should get something, you know. And we're putting in 9 kilowatt hour battery bank, and I don't think they use more than 2 with their old system. And they've run Starlink, all their stuff, you know, computer, all that stuff. So And they got option to hook up a generator if they need to too. So 60 amp charge off the generator, which would be probably their best bet. But yeah, like I said, we're really overdoing this to try and maximize what they're gonna get or what they can use. So like really, they shouldn't need more than 2 panels if they had perfect sun. Like 2 panels would be plenty. Be almost 1,000 watts, 900 watts. That would give them probably close to 7-8 kilowatt hours a day. Not if they had perfect sun. So in this situation, we're gonna be, but even if we took these 3 trees down right here, just these 3 little ones, that would give probably 4 kilowatt hours of light, and then took down those 2 over there, push them that way. That would give you another, 2, 3, 4 kilowatt hours of light. That's just, if they're gonna get clouds all day, it's gonna be tough. They may have to resort to running the generator. And they understand that. They're not on the other side of the lake. The other side of the lake is the good side, where you get unlimited sun pretty much from the morning till the night. And I told them they get way more power if they cut some trees, but they're not really super interested in cutting trees. So that's kind of the way most of the people are here. So many trees everywhere, but they don't really want to cut any of them. So there's not much I can do. I can only offer options and opinions. I can't force them to do anything. And they understand that it's gonna dramatically lower their charging capabilities. But that's why they have a generator. Anyways, guys, this is where we're at for today.